What is up, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Positionless Pod. I am your host, Kai Gamage, and as per usual, I'm here with the most wonderful, talented, versatile, positionless minds in the basketball media landscape today. That's Aaron Matthew and Michael Anthony Cruz. We are short one man because, he couldn't handle the smoke last episode when we confronted him about RJ Barrett. So no Diego this time around. This is a little bit of an emergency pod, but you know what? I mean, we didn't record on Monday. Let's just say this is the pod for the week. This was planned, right? Like we were waiting for this to happen until we recorded a podcast, right? Like, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. Thanks, Messiah. This is
Yeah, we knew. Like as an insider, I was like, let's hold off on recording the episode
yeah.
until the news drops. And the news dropped, guys. Pascal Siakam is officially an Indiana Pacer. He was dealt to Indiana from Toronto this afternoon for a package of Jordan Nwora, Bruce Brown, Kira Lewis Jr., a 2024 first round, well, two 2024 first round picks, and a 2026 first round pick. Not a great package. We'll get into all of that in this episode. We'll get into our reactions from this pretty massive, pretty game changing trade. Yeah, all that is coming up. But first, we're going to dig into. Actually, you know what? Since this is technically our episode of the week, how's it going, guys?
Come on, you're set to do it, man.
How's it going, man?
It's 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm so eager to go back to sleep.
You woke up from this?
I had a nap, yes.
Oh, what a hero, man.
Let's bless.
I know someone who wouldn't wake up for an episode.
Who could it be?
I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, okay. You know what? Sorry, I put you guys on the spot right there. I know it's always hard when I ask you these hard-hitting questions like how's it going, but let's get into the real hard-hitting questions right now. Guys, what was your initial reaction the second you saw the news that Pascal Siakam had been traded to the Indiana Pacers?
I saw a man fall to his knees at Winners in the afternoon. It was awful. Like we all knew it was coming, unfortunately, but to see it actually happen, to see the Woj tweet for a guy who wanted to stay in the city so bad, to see him being essentially forced out is awful. An all NBA guy who helped the city get to their first and only championship. There's so much involved like that, but and I'm not even happy with the package, right? So it just makes me feel even worse that it happened.
Yeah. Well, for me, I actually really wanted like something spicier than Indiana. Like I don't think he moves the needle as much for Indiana for this season, at least. In terms of where they stand in the Eastern Conference. Like it's still going to be Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. I wanted to see something more of like, more of like a league shattering move. Like go to Dallas or something. Because he really would have made like Dallas, get into that upper echelon of the Western Conference. Like just imagine a Luka, Kyrie, and Pascal trio. Like that could hang with any championship contender you have out there. So that was my initial thought. Like, that means Dallas isn't gonna get him. That means Golden State isn't gonna get him. But yeah, I mean, just to hop on, Aaron's thoughts on the return. Like, really, Bruce Brown is the centerpiece of the deal. Like there no Benedict Mathurin, no Jarris Walker. Right. Am I right? Jarris Walker, right?
Yeah, no Andrew Nemhard.
Yeah, like Bruce Brown, the big return.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like it's not about the players, but it's about the picks, and the picks aren't even that good
Yeah,
if we're
yeah.
really being
Mm.
honest here.
Like it's two 2024 picks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they're not going to be lottery picks even. So
far from it.
yeah,
Yeah. So just for like clarity there, the first round picks that they are getting are Indiana's first round pick, and then the worst of the Clippers, Utah, Oklahoma City, and New Orleans Pelicans picks. So chances are that's going to be either the Clippers pick or the Thunder's pick.
yeah,
So like they're both going to suck, right? Like both of those teams look like legitimate contenders in the West, which means they're going to be mid 20s. And we're looking at a draft that is very shallow. And like it's not even that it's shallow, it's just bad, right? Like most of these guys like aren't likely lottery picks and other like good drafts. Like if you put most of these dudes in like the 2018 draft, they're not touching the lottery. Like they're not good enough, right? And now like they're going to be getting two picks from this class that aren't actually even going to be in the lottery. I don't know, it's kind of like I understand wanting to replenish your war chest after, I guess, trading your first round pick for Jakob Pertl last season, and I mean 2020 hindsight there, but um, it's like, yeah, you might have gotten 3 first round picks for an expiring contract, but what are those first round picks? You know, like in a vacuum, if you just say like, oh, the Raptors got 3 first round picks for Pascal Siakam, like that sounds great, but not all first round picks are created equally. You know, like these are bad picks. These are picks that like if Indiana continues on this pace, like they'll probably be what, a first round exit. So that's going to be like late teens, early 20s.
mm,
So I mean, it's just it's not a good return. It's pretty clear that the Raptors didn't capitalize on when Pascal's value was at its highest. And this is what they're coming away with, right? It's Bruce Brown who had his best year because he was just being force fed by Nikola Jokic, and he just makes everyone look good. And now he's just getting overpaid for it. You're getting Jordan Nwora, who last year was a 40% 3 point shooter. So we're holding out hope there. And you're getting Kira Lewis, who is
oh,
like, who? I mean, I know who Kira Lewis is. This guy, he looked good, I think 2 years ago. You know, I was like, oh, he looks like a promising piece for like this very young and upcoming and upstart Pelicans team. You know, he looks like he could be like a plucky guard. And now we're looking at a Pelicans team that doesn't even have that much guard depth, right? Like, especially at the point, like his primary ball handlers, you know? And this guy can't come close to cracking the rotation. So, yeah, it's a bunch of scrubs. Um, and I'm not exactly optimistic about what players the Raptors are going to be able to select with those 3 first rounders that are going to contribute anything, really.
mm.
But yeah, sorry, I know we're not on Raptors just yet, um, but yeah, let's analyze this a bit. You know, Pacers. Aaron, how do you think that this impacts the Pacers? I know Mike did just say that like it doesn't necessarily make them contenders. How do you feel about that? Like, where do they stand in the East now with a, I guess, two-headed, two, well, 1-2 punch of Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam?
I think that's going to be one of the most exciting duos, especially in the East. I don't care if they are a first round exit. I think at least with Siakam, they are a second round exit now, and I think they'll be happy with that because prior to this trade, Bruce Brown was their big wet, and that's not good enough for a team that has championship aspirations in the next coming years. You need somebody who's been there, done that, and like as a second option, not just like as a seventh option or something. He's a legitimate leader. He's only turning 30. He's entering his prime still, and I think uh I'm glad that they went all out for him. All out is a stretch, honestly, but I guess, yeah, like three first rounders, right? And I read a Bobby Marks tweet which said, uh, if they didn't trade for him in and they just tried to go for him in the off season, they would have to decline Bruce Brown's team option. They would have to waive or like just let Buddy Hield and Obi Toppin walk, and they would have to waive TJ McConnell. Right now, they managed to keep three of those four players and just let go of the overpaid role player that they had on the team. And I think that's a fantastic get for them. And I think next year, uh, with these two at the four, I think they already have a solid core. And if this young core takes another jump, who's going to stop them in the East? I think they've already looked super solid this year against the best teams. They've played them so many times, and they've I don't think they have a losing record against any of Boston, Philly, or Milwaukee. And so that means they can at their best they can take down the best teams in their conference. So next year, with slightly more experience, a bit more chemistry, I think they could go all the way. So awesome trade for the Pacers, honestly.
Mike, what about you, man? How do you feel about adding? I mean, like on the defensive end too. Like you're getting a guy like Pascal Siakam who has proven he can lock in. I mean, this is a guy that was like the second option. Like if we're being very honest, he was the second option. Sorry about my fire alarm. It's been bugging me recently, but he was the second option on the Raptors championship team.
Yeah.
That's just what he was,
Yeah.
right? Like Lowry was there. He was solid. Like he's Kyle Lowry. He was the leader of that team, but Pascal was the second option there. Do you think that he can kind of bring it in the same way that he did during the Raptors championship run to this young core with a Tyrese Haliburton, with a Miles Turner that like hasn't been as defensively solid as he's been in years past? Like, can Pascal's contributions on both ends of the floor really bring something to the Pacers here?
Yeah, of course. Like as you guys said, like he's had experience being the second option. I think this is like the best role for him moving forward, um and just what he brings on both ends of the floor is really going to help this Pacers team. I think what this does is like it already establishes Indiana's core for maybe like the next 3 to 4 years, right? They're already building around Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner, but I still feel like they're probably one or two pieces away, from really making that jump. And obviously, you're counting on Tyrese Haliburton to really become like a legitimate number one guy. Like, he still has room to improve into being that alpha dog of a championship team. So yeah, I mean Siakam is obviously going to improve their defense, but I feel like they still need to add more defensive pieces on this team because that's their main weakness this year. So offensively, they don't have much of a problem there. They're obviously one of the best offenses ever, but defensively is where they need to improve. And I think that's going to be their focus moving forward. I don't know if there's another trade that they could do this year. Buddy Hield's on expiring deal. He's been in trade rumors. Maybe they flip him for I don't know something else like
Like
a
a
defensive piece. But
Yeah, you'd love like a Caruso there or something
that's
like
yeah.
that.
I was thinking about Caruso too. Like, but I don't know if Chicago's going to trade him. Rumors are they're not going to move him this season at least, but next year he's going to be on an expiring deal. So maybe they could get him next year. And he'd be perfect next to Halliburton.
Yeah. I mean, like, I agree there. It's just Pascal does give you more of a defensive edge, but I mean, he hasn't been the defender that we've really hoped he could be this season. Maybe that's part of that, like, there's reports that had come out prior to this trade that Siakam's kind of been disengaged this season as a whole. Like since his name popped up in trade rumors over the offseason, particularly in like the Lillard kind of deal, whether the Raptors were going to send him to Portland for like the young players, a guy like Scoot, Shaden, stuff like that. Like Pascal's name was popping up in trade rumors over the summer, right? So he's kind of just been disengaged this year. He's been checked out. It's clear that the team didn't necessarily just want him, even though he wanted to be there. So maybe part of that, like part of he's still having a good year, right? Like he's still averaging 22.2 points a game on 6.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists. He's still putting up solid splits. His 3-point shooting has been pretty horrendous, but his work in just like from the fields, he's hitting at a 52% rate. He's still been good. He's still been a plus defensively. But you still wonder if like there is another level to his energy that he can bring now that he's on a team that actually wants him, right? In Indiana. And that has like that potential where he doesn't have to, and he doesn't have to be the number one guy, which is pretty huge, right? Like he's been asked to be the number one guy for this Toronto team for the past few years since Kawhi left. And I mean, I'm sure he liked that role, but I think it's going to be nice for him. It's going to make more sense for him more than anything else to be slotted into that number two role alongside Tyrese, right? On both sides of the floor. Yeah, I mean, it'll be wild. I think that Indiana's offense does make a lot of sense. Like they are one of the fastest offenses in the entire league. I mean, like their work in the full court in transition is absolutely insane. And Pascal's just another level to that. He's a great full court player, great transition player. He can create really well in transition alongside Tyrese in case that's what they need. In the half court, you're getting a guy that can create his own shot, which you're not really getting outside of Haliburton in Indiana. Mathurin has shown some shades of being able to do that, but as more of a bench player, he's not really the guy that you're looking towards to get the ball out of Haliburton's hands. Pascal does alleviate some of that load, which is probably going to be pretty sweet. I think that any good team probably needs at least like two legitimate ball handlers, legitimate shot creators, and Pascal's that type of guy. He's going to be joining an offense with a ton more spacing, which is huge for him, right? Like this is a guy that likes to operate on drives, likes to operate on cuts, likes to have the ball in the post, do his thing, utilize the space that others are creating for him. And now he's on a team that actually gives him space. So that should be a huge improvement to his game. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
just
go ahead.
just to harp on the your point about the space. Siakam's actually been really solid over the past month. Like since December, he's been averaging 24 points on 56% shooting. He's actually also been shooting the ball really well from beyond the arc. Like he's 44%
Yeah.
from three since December. So you just wonder just how much better he could be as a 3-point shooter in Indiana. This is a pretty sizable stretch here, 20 games of shooting over 44% from three. So yeah, I mean, you just wonder just how better he'll be in this offense. Just being able to drive. He's a willing cutter too. Halliburton's gonna find him on cuts to the basket. Um, yeah, there's just a lot more space on this offense compared to what he's experienced in Toronto over like the past 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, he's one of the most creative players in the game. He can create the shots when he needs to, like, regardless of the spacing. But, like, since they traded for RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly, right? Like, the Raptors have taken their offense another level. That's been like a big thing for them. The spacing's been a lot more like you can tell that it's working a lot better. And in that time, like he's shooting since January 1st, right? So this month he's shooting 53% from deep, right? On like a pretty sizable 4.3 attempts a game. And obviously, like, that's not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. But that's what he can do in an offense that actually fits him and that like space is for him. And that's what you're going to be getting in Indiana. You're getting like one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. They're hitting their threes at 38%. They're shooting 37.1 threes a game, right? Like this is a team that will thrive with a type of guy like Pascal there. So, I mean, like to manage to pull it off without actually giving up any of like the pieces that actually make this team as productive as they are on offense
Mhm.
is insane. Aaron, how do you feel about how little Indiana had to like really give up to get this done? And
Yeah, it's I'm still surprised, man. Like there were so many different players that they could have gotten, like so many different young players that could have helped the Raptors timeline. There's like Jalen Smith, even Isaiah Jackson would have been something. But they,
you see that one picture of Isaiah Jackson?
oh my, where he's holding the board and his answers. Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Jackson, years old.
I love chicken with a CHIKEN chicken. Bro, there were so many people talking about how thank God he's good at ball and
Yo,
yeah.
yeah, thank God he's like 7 feet tall, man. Holy dude.
But yeah, this
Just had to ask. Yo, you know what his favorite song is?
rap.
Wait.
Bro, I'm never forgetting those responses.
He cooked. He cooked. Yeah, I'm okay with not having him on my team, man. I had Precious Achua for a couple of years, you know. I can I'm good with not having Isaiah
Hey,
Jackson,
don't
dog.
don't disrespect his on court ability, man. He's
No,
good.
he's nice. I
Yeah.
like Isaiah Jackson a lot. I like Isaiah Jackson.
But yeah, like to come out of the trade without losing any good young players. The one player that they just got in, so it's not like he was part of like some project here. It was just a rental contract, and they made the most out of that too. I saw Kevin Gardner talk about how Pascal Siakam doesn't do the things Bruce Brown does, which is like, bro, yes, he does not because one of them is a role player and the other is an all NBA player, which is nonsense. But
Yeah,
anyway, uh, yeah, like like you said, it's crazy that they still have all their shooters uh, for Pascal to thrive off of. Like right now, aside from Miles Turner, everybody in that lineup alongside Pascal shoots at least 38%, which is insane. Something he's never had before. So, uh, even Jerace Walker, honestly, who has been a no-show so far for being a number 8 pick.
yeah,
I thought the Raptors could snag him, help him develop here, but even he's still on the team, which is bizarre to me. I I don't get how the Pacers manage this, man.
yeah. They finessed it. It's pretty ridiculous. It's like I understand not giving up Matherin in a deal like this, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a hefty cost for a guy that could be a rental. Um, but like to not get Jerace Walker, who's averaging 3.8 points right now, playing 9.8 minutes a game, has only suited up for 13 games, is mostly just in the G League. Like it's a slow start to his career for a guy that like already had kind of a confusing role on this team when he was drafted. I didn't really know how he would work. He kind of just felt like a tweener that just didn't really make sense for if he was going to be like you couldn't really tell if he was going to be a forward or a wing, like whatever he would be, like a small ball five. Um, so and now it's just like he's stuck in the G League. He's putting up Grady Dick numbers. Um, It's shocking that you couldn't get a guy like that. Maybe the Raptors didn't want him. Maybe they just wanted the 3 first rounders. Who's to say?
Yo, they didn't want
Um,
another Precious, man.
I'm good. New York fans are finally starting to realize what Precious Achua is, man. It's hilarious. He had that one play where like he stole a pass in transition and then instantly like falls on the floor and like tosses it behind his head. And everyone's like, what the fuck was that? Baby, that's Precious Achua ball. Um Dude, I was gonna ask you. Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys. Okay, so so I mentioned it right there, right? Like this could be a rental for Indiana, right? There were reports. I mean, the reporting that's actually been around Siakam for a while since this summer has been that he cannot, like, he will not commit to signing an extension anywhere. Right? Like if he's traded, he will not commit to signing an extension unless it's in Toronto. How do we feel about the Indiana Pacers? I mean, it's not even going all in because they traded away 2 of their own picks. That's it. And then like some crappy pick swap, 5-person pick swap kind of deal. It's a mess. How do we feel about the Pacers spending what they did if Pascal Siakam chooses to not stay in Indiana?
But there's already a Woj report, right, where he said,
Like he's discussing it, or
yeah,
like they will be in talks, like he would be happy to. And I think that you're going to hear that, but until his name is on the dotted line, I mean, we haven't seen OG sign an extension yet, right? Like
yeah,
you never know what, I mean, he's also on a player option. But like until the guys actually sign extensions, you don't know.
yeah.
So it's like, are you comfortable? Like, if you were the Pacers GM, would you be comfortable shelling out that sort of capital to get a better shot at keeping Pascal Siakam when free agency does come this summer?
I think so. Yeah, because like when you do that, you also show intent, right? You show the player that they want him on the team, whereas the team he's on right now have been trying to ship him for months now. So they went all in to show that they are serious about keeping him on the team. They And I think it's in Pascal's best interest too, right? Because with the bird rights, the Pacers are going to be the team that can offer the most money. They have that, and when Pascal already sees a project like this, that could be a championship contender within the next couple of seasons, where he could be paid max money like he's always wanted to, the same max money that the Raptors refuse to commit. I I think the Pacers made the right move by going all in, despite all the uncertainty about him not committing to a non-Toronto team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Aaron hit it in the head. In terms of just throwing that intent of letting Pascal know that they're willing to take the risk to take him in, because I mean I don't know what, like, he's already going to see how this team is going to look like for like what, 4 months.
Mhm.
So I think this is going to, like, their audition for him to stick around beyond this year. And I mean, as reported by Woj, I think they have a pretty good shot at retaining him, because, like, where's he going to go next year other than Indiana? Detroit? he's,
Dallas.
he's is it, I mean, can the Mavs sign him next year?
I mean, with what money?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, Mavs are a mess.
And with Philly's probably an option.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, Philly's probably their biggest competition for Pascal right now. But I mean, if Halliburton and him, have that chemistry throughout these 4 months, I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the fit is really good. It makes sense. Like they want him. And that's a big deal. Actually being wanted by a city, especially after dealing with like this crap for the past year almost. From having like all the faces that you once knew in Toronto just kind of leave, having like everyone just get traded away, having your name being mentioned in trade rumors all the time. Like it's got to be tiring. So going to a place like Indiana that is on a winning track, like they can tell what they have in Tyrese Haliburton, and they think that Pascal is the guy that is best suited to help them take it to the next level. Like I think that means a lot as a player, like Siakam most likely, right? Like that's huge. Um, I think it's a risk you take every single time. Like we saw the Milwaukee Bucks do it this offseason when they went all in for Dame to make sure that Giannis was happy, right? And it worked out. Like, I mean, not only are the Bucks great right now, but Giannis signed on the dotted line. He's going to be in Milwaukee for like the next 5 years, right? Like that's what you do when you have a franchise player. You make sure you do everything you can to build around them. So it's good to see that the Pacers are actually taking advantage of having a good player on their roster, a franchise player on their roster, um, and they're moving forward with it, right? Like, I mean, the Pacers have always kind of just been a team that are just stuck in the middle of the standings. From like the Domas years to the Paul George years, they've always just been a team that's just in the middle. They're never going to be like a Eastern Conference finalist type team, an NBA Finals type team, regardless of how many like good franchise players have walked through their door. But now, like they got the guy in Tyrese, and they're going for it, and it just feels like a new regime. It feels like a new sort of way of going about things in Indiana, and it's good to see. I think that this is the right move for them, regardless of how it turns out in 6 months, regardless of how much he signs for, whether it be here or somewhere else. Like I think that this was always going to be the right move. Um, it's good. It's good that they're doing this around Tyrese. Like I looked at them coming into this season as a team that could take a leap, right? Um, I think I like went on record saying like, look, if they don't take a leap, I think it's like Rick Carlisle's fault. And like when we did our coaching hot seat episode, I was like, if they're not good, I think that Rick Carlisle needs to be looked at, because this is a team that looks hungry, that just signed Miles Turner to an extension because they think that he can bring like a winning culture to this team, that he can help them take the next step. Like they're making moves as if they want to take the next step, and now they're really doing it. Like they're committing in it. They're committing to it. And I think that that's exactly what you want to see out of like these smaller market, these like young teams. That's what you want to see. You want to see them try to go up against teams like the Celtics, like the 76ers, like the Bucks. You want to see them get that playoff experience. You want to see them in the hard games. And this is good. Like regardless of how the playoffs go, like I'm happy the Pacers did this. And I think that look, they've already been like one of the most fun teams in the NBA. And now I just like, why would I not watch every single one of their games, man? They're already fun, and now they have one of my favorite players. Like, they got my guy, Mr. Beyblade. Like, it's exciting, man. It's great. Yeah. Anything else we want to say about the Pacers before we move on to talk about the Raptors here, or are we good?
I No, just disappointed that Masai is becoming too Canadian, that wanted to he got tired of the spice.
Yo.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Sure. Yep. Yep. Okay. Still got barbecue there. We're good. Um, crazy.
Brazilian barbecue?
Crazy things.
Oh, come on, no. Shout out to my guy, man.
Yo, big ups to big ups to him, man. Yo,
Oh
what is
man.
happening, man? All right, we we get to talk about the Raps.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, do
good.
we want to take a quick break? Or are we good?
We're
Just
good.
power through. You
Yeah.
want a break? Okay, let's go. Let's get it. All right, Toronto Raptors. It's over, man. We the North. It's been over. It's been over, but this is it. This is the final nail in the coffin. Man. So I don't know if you guys watch like Secret Base or like SB Nation or whatever, but they have this one series on YouTube called like Collapse or something like that, where they talk about like a team that had like won a championship, and like they see how they went from like championship to like bottom feeder in like a matter of years. And they do this cool thing in like the graphics on that YouTube video where like they'll show all the pieces from like that championship roster, like all the important pieces from that championship roster. So like if you had the Raptors, it'd be like Kawhi, Kyle, Fred, Norman Powell, OG, Pascal, Mark Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Nick Nurse, all those guys, right? And every single one of them is gone. So it's over, man, and it breaks my heart. I think like the one player that's still on the roster is Chris Boucher, and even he's being rumored to the Celtics for some reason. So um, it's a weird time in Toronto right now. I think that like this like Pascal's been my favorite Raptors player for a while now. I've like gone on to say that like I think that he is going to be the greatest Raptor of all time. Um, I think he was well on his way to doing that. I think this is a guy who had two All NBA selections, uh, two All Star selections, but deserved more. Um, NBA champion, most improved. He was well on his way to becoming the best Raptor of all time. Like he was already fifth in assists, fifth in points, third in rebounds. Like he's been awesome in the time that he's been here. And I think that his success story is one of the ones that like best exemplified what the Raptors were during that era. And like everyone likes to point to the Kyle Lowry story or like the Fred Van Vliet story, like these smaller, like plucky guards that are betting on themselves, things like that. But I think Pascal's rise from like absolutely nothing. Like this is a guy that picked up basketball when he was 16 to becoming like the face of basketball in Toronto. Um, I don't know. He was our guy, and I don't think that like I don't know. He was ours. You know, no other teams were really looking at him in the draft. This is a guy that went after like Scal Labissiere. Actually, no, he was like one pick before Scal Labissiere, and I remember people were rattled about it. But this was the guy that like defined this era of Raptors basketball, and it's over, man. And it makes me sad. Like I've got him there for a reason. He's like the one Raptors jersey I own for a reason, and he's gone. And I think that this team kind of shat on him on the way out, and I feel really bad for that. You know, like I think that I've kind of been on like the team that's like let's trade these guys, like let's get it over with. But I didn't want it to go like this, man. Like it's just been ugly. Like there's reports coming out all the time about like him being unwilling to like do things, and fans are getting mad at him because it's like, yo, just let us trade you, bro. Like stop screwing us over. And like I don't know, there's just been tension all year long around what his role is, what his future on this team is, whether they want him here or not. So it sucks that it had to go this way. But I'm grateful for everything he gave us. I I went into this season thinking he'd be traded, so I prepared myself for this, you know. But seeing it go down this way, it hurts still. It hurts. And yeah, man, love you, Pascal. Honestly, like I love this guy with all my heart. I'm happy that he's in a place that, you know, People are gonna care about him. I'm happy he's not with the Warriors. That's just wonderful. That means a lot to me. He's on a team that I like, and that's cool. I'm cool with that. So good luck to him. Um, Masai, what the bro? Um, what the hell, man? Yeah, I don't know. I could go on, but I want to give you guys the floor. Anything you guys want to say about Pascal in Toronto?
Okay. Well, for me, like, I mean, just like his story, being a guy from Cameroon, as you said, started playing basketball at 16. You know, I still remember like back before he, had his breakout season, back when he was still coming off the bench. I was listening to like the Zach Lowe podcast, and how he was like one of the first guys who saw all star potential in Pascal. Like he was saying it even before it happened. So like this guy looks like an all star, future all star, and lo and behold, that's what happened. He became one of the key pieces of that 2019 championship team. Had one of the more underrated daggers, or underrated shots in the 2019 finals. That floater over Draymond Green pretty much gave them that little bit cushion
Yeah.
to take down my team. I thought it was a lucky shot. Like, come on, man, he can't hit that over Draymond.
Over one of the best defenders of all time,
Yeah, like, come on,
bro.
bro. Like, how dare you hit
Beautiful.
that? How
To make
dare
it a
you?
111-108 game. Oh,
How
beautiful
dare you?
stuff.
But yeah, I mean, it was pretty. I think it was pretty much an overlooked shot. And then everybody's gonna remember the Kawhi shot, but that one pretty much sealed the deal for the Raptors in 2019. And obviously, um, becoming an All NBA talent. Not many believe that he could take the reins from Kawhi, but he did. He was the leader of that 2020 team that I thought could have gone back to back, in the bubble. But
Don't give that stank face,
come
bro.
on, man.
Yo, you're lucky. You're lucky there was a break, man. That team looked
Okay.
like the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, man.
That
The,
Raptors
the
team looked
Raptors,
like the
the,
best
the
team in the
Raptors were
NBA
rolling.
Okay.
till the bubble hit. I mean, till like till the pandemic hit. That team was heated, bro. Pascal was on it. Pascal was nasty that year.
Oh, the Raptors were a complete team that year. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, I
Yo,
thought they could have went back to back.
imagine if he stayed, bro.
But yeah, I
Imagine if
mean, that's just the legacy that Pascal has, and it sucks that it had to go down this way. Like all the rumors, all the ill feelings he had towards the end of his time here. Just really sad, just the way it went down. And I don't know, like Masai's really not the best guy, in terms of maintaining good relationships with his players. Like we saw it with Demar, we saw it, with a little bit with Kyle Lowry. So I don't know.
it's a business. It's a business, man. I'm not gonna. Whatever, dude.
But like even I get the whole it's business thing, right? Like with Demar, at least it resulted in a Kawhi.
Yeah,
Even the Lowry trade was awful. The Siakam trade's also awful. Like
yeah.
if you're parting with some of the greatest players your franchise has ever seen, I think I don't know. There should be like at least the Kyle Lowry departure was a bit more respectful. I think this was just bad. And okay, so for me, like Pascal, obviously I wasn't part of the whole 2019 run, and but like after coming here, I think it was so cool to see Pascal as the leader of the team of a city that is so multicultural, and then you have a guy from Cameroon as your leader. I thought it was just like really cool to see that in the NBA, and to see that storyline come to a I don't know if we're being too sad here, but like a heartbreaking end, right? Like he got forced out essentially out of a team that he loved, and it sucks. But at least, like you said, Kai, he's gone to a fun team, gone to a team where he could potentially win his second rings, and we will be rooting for Spicy P.
Yeah, let's go. Go Indy, go Pacers. Um, yeah, I mean, while we're on the topic of like these crappy trades that Masai has pulled, like just because you pulled this RJ Barrett Emmanuel quickly trade doesn't mean we're gonna forget about what you did with Kyle, what you did now, what you did with Fred. You know, like Fred letting him walk for free, Kyle trading him to Miami when you could have had like for Goran Dragic and Precious Achua when you could have had like
Taylor.
Tyrese Maxey.
Taylor Horton Tucker.
Taylor
Oh,
Horton
could have
Tucker.
had Taylor Horton Tucker, man. Oh my god. God, that would have been such a Raptors player.
Right?
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking, you know? And now, like, dude, this return is awful. It's horrible. It's so bad. Like, I know we touched on it a bit off the top, but like, holy crap. This draft sucks. What are they gonna do? Draft Bronny? Holy crap, man.
Yo.
What are we doing here? This draft is horrendous. Like, you know what? Let's say they draft Bronny. I think that'd be fun, right? You get LeBron in here. It could be a fun team. But if if you don't get that, like you're looking at some scrubs, man. Like G League Ignite players, like freaking Tyler Smith and he's on Almanza. Like these guys are not good. G League Ignite players are bad. You know, like these are not good players. Like these are the guys that are being mocked to the Raptors right now. Tyrese Proctor, bro. What are we doing here? This draft is horrendous. Oh my god, man. Like it's been talked about all year how bad this class is. How like it's barely even filled with depth guys. It's just all projects. And I'm sorry, I haven't seen the Raptors develop a project since Pascal. You know, like you've had guys that are projects. You've brought them in. You traded for Precious Achua. God damn, dude. You had Malachi Flynn. Like you, yo, they just waived Christian Coloco, dog. Like I know he's had his health issues, and that's part of why. But like,
Oh man.
I'm sorry, I don't trust this team to scout prospects at this point in time. I saw like look at Grady Dick, man. You see what Jordan Hawkins put up the other day? He put up like 34. You could have had him. Sorry, I don't trust this team's scouting. I don't trust this team's development. Like I don't trust this team to put guys in the right spot to succeed if you're going to be drafting these projects, which is what this whole class is filled with. And you're trading for 2 picks from this draft? Come on, man. In 2026, like an Indiana 2026, bro, they're going to be like winning titles at that point. What are we doing here? So, I don't know. This return's trash. Jordan Nwora is a scrub. Kira Lewis is a scrub. Bruce Brown is not Bruce Brown. He's not, I'm sorry. Like that is not the championship winner Bruce Brown right there. This trade has given the Raptors nothing. And now we're going to be judging Pascal's effect on Toronto based on this crappy return. It's like, I don't know. How do you get less for Pascal than you get for OG? I don't get that. How does that happen? 'Cause it's like would you give up like all of these picks and like would you give up like these 3 first rounders, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis, and Bruce Brown for Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett? Like, would you make that trade?
Depends, right? Like who am I getting RJ and Emmanuel quickly for that garbage return, or is it the
No, no,
other
no.
way?
Like the other way around. The other way around.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, right.
yeah.
It's horrible. They got less for Pascal than they got for OG, man. Sick to my stomach, bro. Whatever. I'm just ranting. I'm just mad about it. I don't think this return's very good at all. I think that Masai might be washed. Um, I don't know. It's a mess. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you look at it, the return for Jakob Pertl might be better than what the Raptors got for Pascal Siakam.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Ugh, that hurts, man. I don't like that trade.
Well, you can hope that now that there's no Pascal, that they can tank so bad that they end up finishing within that uh, protection criteria, whatever.
Well,
Well,
let me tell you something right now. I was actually gonna bring this up. Are we all for addition by subtraction here? Because did you see what the Raptors did to the Miami Heat today?
yeah, they whoop.
Oh my god. Dude, they were up by like 37 at one point.
Yeah, that's the Miami Heat's biggest deficit at halftime in franchise history.
Damn.
Sorry? Like, how about
Yeah.
those Raptors, huh? I think that on one hand, like though I don't like the return package at all, it makes it clear that the Raptors are going in one direction, right? It makes it clear that they're taking the Scotty path and nothing else. Like this entire team is going to be built around him and quickly, as like the two big pieces, and probably RJ as like the third core piece. And they're finally choosing to go with a longer timeline. And I think that that means something in and of itself. In and of itself. Um, we saw it tonight, like Gary Trent Jr. just raining down threes. We're never going to see that again. But I don't know. Like, I think on one hand, like, yeah, obviously I'm sad about this Pascal thing, but I think it's bittersweet, right? Like, I think that on one hand, like, yeah, it sucks that that era is over, but it's kind of beautiful that a new one's begun.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
choose team now.
Hey,
I mean, Scotty's team now.
hey, you're forgetting about one guy there.
RJ.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go.
Mhm.
Yo, but I want to bring it up though. Like, you think the Raptors could have gone like, there were rumors about them trading with the Kings, right? You think they could have gotten like a better return from Sacramento than whatever they got from this one? Because it was rumored like it was gonna be Harrison Barnes,
No, I don't want that guy.
Kevin Herter, the other guy, and
I'm good.
Davion Mitchell.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably get less like draft capital. And again, it's
Yeah,
not like the
you're
draft
not gonna get a
capital is
lot of
that
draft
impressive.
capital for that one.
I think that like you kind of just need to trust the front office went with the best package that was available, right? Like that's that. Like I'm not gonna say like, oh, there must have been something better out there. Like there likely wasn't,
Yeah,
right? Like they saw what made most sense for this team, and like I'll accept that. I just think that at the end of the day, like the timing on trading Pascal is what I have issue with, rather than like what other potential returns could have been out there, because we don't know. You have to trust the front office got the best return that was out there, um, at this conjunction in time, right? But as far as whether they made the right move at the right time, I'd say no. I'd say that they had a full year to get this done. And they could have gotten so much more for it, like last season, when I mean their names, like every single Raptor was on the trading block, it seemed last year, other than Scotty. They couldn't get anything done. So I think the timing was wrong. I think that they could have gotten a better package at a different point in time, but I think that this probably was the best package at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of like the trend, like for Masai. It's always like it just dries up the value of the player. Then when it's too late, you don't get the best value available. So yeah, it kind of sucks that
Yes.
at least the OG trade kind of saved his face a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, if that OG trade didn't happen, like if it didn't turn out to be this good, I think that the Raptors are in a way worse place than they are right now. Because I think that it's clear where the Raptors do want to go from here, right? I think that it's clear the path that they're taking, and trading Siakam does kind of get rid of that confusion. And I think that that does mean something, you know?
Hmm. You think someone else is gonna go?
No. I mean, Boucher
I I think there's a slim
and Bruce,
chances of that happening.
you're funny.
Is there no chance of a Jakob Pertl trade down the line?
God, I don't think that they should. I don't like. What are we doing? Are we really gonna run with Jonte Porter as our everyday five? Like, dude, this guy. what, what are we talking about here?
No, but there has to be a Bruce Brown trade, I'm sure.
There
Like,
has to be a
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah,
Brown
yeah.
trade. Yeah,
there's no way they can hold on to him for, like, no, there's no reason to do that.
Yo,
and you're not accepting that team option. Like,
did,
he can help out a contender.
did you see the Bruce Brown news? You see what he said?
Which one? That he's Lana Rhodes' baby daddy, or
Huh?
Nah, bro. On the,
What?
like he was complaining that he has to watch this Raptors team now.
yo?
Yeah, Bruce Muse.
Why is there a Bruce Muse, man?
Bro, these player Muse accounts are way too much, bro.
It's so silly,
He
man.
was so mad at Indiana.
Who's gonna?
Give up Bruce just like that.
you know, on like Twitter sometimes when team accounts will like send out those like wallpaper Wednesday posts, and it's with like the most random ass players.
Yeah.
Like those those are specifically for the one guy that like runs the music account for that one random ass player. Like like if the Spurs tweet out like a Zach Collins wallpaper, they're doing it specifically for the guy that runs like the Zach Collins Muse account. Weirdos, dude.
Oh man.
So yeah. Yeah. We're having fun. Yeah. Who's got a better mustache, me or Bruce Brown?
You.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, King. Okay. I think we've gone on long enough for this episode, yeah?
Yeah, quick reaction, right?
Quick reaction.
Episode, huh? 3-man crew.
Tough. Just get Diego to edit.
On the go bus.
Oh, he's getting cooked. Yeah, make him edit. I want him to hear the things that we're saying about him.
Don't worry, he'll hear it.
You better. Good. Okay. All right. That's all we got for this episode of the Positionless Pod. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you are on YouTube, everyone wave hi. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or any other weird podcast listening thing, make sure to rate and review. Share it with your friends, tweet it out, put it on your Instagram story, tag us. You know, check us out on socials. So that's at the Kickout Media, and check out our personal accounts, which you can see down below. Yeah, that's all for this episode. Boys, signing off for the most talented, versatile positionless minds in the basketball media landscape today. That's Aaron Matthew and Michael Anthony Cruz. I'm your host, Kai Gamage, and boys, it's been a slice.